So, one of the things that I've noticed, at least throughout my life, is that being a moral kind of person doesn't tend to benefit you very much. It seems to me that, you know, only the more, I guess, dubious kind of people tend to be the ones who make bank, basically. And that's not to say necessarily that I'm promoting any sort of, I guess, bad behavior, whatever that means. It's more so that, well, for what I've noticed, the world currently at large tends to reward, I guess, people who tend to take advantage of other people. It's not necessarily to say that every person who becomes successful is like some morally bankrupt individual. It's more so to say that the world promotes these kinds of people into positions of power, into wealth and prosperity more often than, I guess, like good people, whatever good means to you, right? You think like politicians, especially. What I've noticed is that almost every politician throughout history, almost all of them have tended to be bad people who use their positions of power to, take advantage of other people, to enrich themselves, to do basically whatever it is that they want to do because they're in the position to do those things, right? Especially nowadays, of course, you got like some of the worst people in the world running the world, which doesn't tend to work very well for most people who aren't in those positions of power. I think now some people are like kind of pushing back against this, but it's still like a large enough thing where those bad people are the ones who are prospering the most in the world, right? I think when people think of like, or I guess when I first thought of it, I was thinking more like celebrities, because we do tend to hear a lot about celebrities, doing, I guess, what you would consider bad things, depending again, like what you consider bad. I think first of all, most people who are like that, like the really bad people who are like murderers and rapists and pedophiles, whoever, I don't think they would go towards like, I guess what you would consider like positions where they could be seen. I think they would go for more like, the positions where they could just do what they want quietly. Of course, that is not always true. I mean, there are plenty of billionaires out there who try to put themselves in the spotlight. There are celebrities, who, actors and musicians and other kinds of entertainers who love the spotlight, and politicians, of course. But I think that the worst kinds of people who try and get away with things are the kinds of people who don't put themselves in the spotlight, like Epstein, right? Who here really knew who Epstein was before 2019? I mean, he wasn't like, he was in those circles, but he wasn't like a main figure. He was just like kind of in the background. But right, it's like if you put all these people in a group, like kind of like just like lining them all up, and you were to like name all of these people, I think like before 2019, we wouldn't even know who Jeffrey Epstein was, because being in that kind of position where he's got his whole sex island, wouldn't be good for him to be in the spotlight and be known. It doesn't make sense if you want to keep doing the things that you're doing to put yourself in a position where you can be seen, basically. But in spite of that, these kinds of people still gain massive amounts of wealth and power. They control things in the world. They control certain people in the world. They get very rich off it, basically. And so that's basically why I think, these kinds of people do become successful anyway, because they're willing to do whatever it is that they have to do to get to where they want to be, so they can do the things that they that they want to do. Basically, that was a very unusual transition. Basically, what I was saying is that the more like morally bankrupt people, they become successful because they don't really care about anyone but themselves, and they will do what they have to do to get to where they want to go. Whereas people who do have morals tend to not make it as far because they have certain lines that they won't cross. And again, like, it depends on the person and what they think that line is, because some things that we think are moral or immoral, that's not like, I think some of those things tend to be not as bad as some people say they are. Again, like, it depends. Like, doing drugs to me wouldn't be something that I would consider to be morally wrong, but someone might consider that to be morally wrong. Basically anything where you're not hurting anyone else, I would say I could care less about. The morally bankrupt people who are the ones that become successful, usually because they don't really care about anyone but themselves, and they'll do what they have to do to get wherever it is that they want to go. The people who do have morals, who are not willing to cross certain lines, whatever those lines might be, they don't become as successful because they aren't willing to cross those lines. And depending on whatever you think those lines are, the more moral, I suppose, that you are, the less likely it is that you're going to become successful, because I think sometimes and when it comes to those kinds of things, success, whatever your definition of success is, I guess, like, the higher up you go, you'll have to cross more lines, basically, and do more bad or evil things, whatever I guess what you consider bad to be. I guess evil makes more sense, but it sounds kind of cartoony. But yeah, that's basically what it is. Bad people willing to do what they have to do. Good people not so willing. Where is the line? Who knows? I guess it depends on who you are. That's basically what I want to say. Morality, it's not really that profitable. Doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It's important to have some morals or some code of ethics. You should have that, of course. But some people, the people who are rewarded in life, as it were, are the ones who don't have, I guess, such a strict code. That's the right word to use. I don't really have a way to end this video. Whatever it is. So yeah, I'll just leave now. See ya.